Alright, people of the internet, today we are going to be talking about a little bit about the Platatac accessories small Flask 152 combo pouch, and just kind of going over this a little bit, since there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of reviews and stuff for this. Why not? Alright, so let's move this stuff out of the way a little bit. So we'll start with going over the overall build quality of the pouch, which, to put it simply, is totally fine. It's actually easily on par with any other name brand gear that you've bought or heard of. The things that need to be double stitched are double stitched, and bar tacked and stuff where it needs to be bar tacked. He's got this little strap here for closing the pouch if you've got a radio up top, which we'll talk about a little bit later. As far as the rear goes, it has a 2x4 tall MOLLE attachment area. The one thing I do appreciate that they did was double over this webbing so that it gives it a little bit of inherent stiffness to it, because this is a large pouch and is probably going to have relatively heavy things in it, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but doubling over this webbing, outside of them putting in like an HDPE insert in here, does really help to kind of stiffen the back of the pouch when you have it mounted to a MOLLE platform, and actually does help to bear the weight in the pouch a little bit better without it sagging. So I appreciate the fact that they did that instead of just leaving it single webbing. On the flip side, I can't say I'm in love with the little Velcro turnover tabs here at the bottom. I would have really preferred either it to be a standard HDPE stiffened tuck tab to tuck under the bottom here, like most pouches are, or alternatively for them to do a short tuck tab with Velcro, and then put another piece of webbing here for it to tuck underneath. Kind of similar to like the Blue Force Gear Helium Whisper system, just with regular old webbing. Although these guys, Platatac does make a version that it does have Helium Whisper if you like that mounting platform. Other than that, I mean, that being said, it's okay. Maybe if you were going to mount the thing, upside down on a MOLLE platform or something, you might have some issues, but given that the way the pouch is designed to be used, it's not coming off. But I still don't like it, just because it's a little, in my opinion, a little less secure, and this isn't really like actual webbing at the bottom here. It's some kind of pack clothish type of stuff, so durability is going to be an issue. I don't know. I mean, it's on the back of a MOLLE platform, so it's not getting a lot of abrasion, but depending on how much you're going to take the pouch on and off, I guess would depend. If there's any one place on this pouch that I'd say they skimped on without a real good reason, it would be this one tiny little nitpick. So there you go. I've nitpicked my one nitpick. Well, my first nitpick anyway. We'll get to the other major nitpick with this one. Alright, so this pouch also has 2x2 webbing on the sides and on the front. I'm kind of 50-50 on this. So is it nice to have? Yeah, it is nice to have. But my gripe is, because of the way that the pouch is overall designed, it's towards the bottom of the pouch. Which means if you want to put anything on here that's longer than exactly 2x2 MOLLE spaces, there's a pretty good chance that it's going to hang off the bottom of the pouch, which is super infuriating if you ever if you ever put a pouch that fits on 2 spaces of Molly but is longer. It can be kind of annoying to have it just hanging up the bottom of the pouch. Not that it's going to stop it from being attached, just that it's lame and annoying. Obviously, you can only go so far because of the zippers that come down the side, and then, unlike some of the other pouches they have on the website, you can only go so far up because you have to have this little buckle here to hold the pouch closed. If you're going to put a radio in here, because this pouch obviously is a zipper pouch that isn't meant to hold a radio, but you can anyway. I'll gripe about that later. So, webbing good. I personally much prefer having the webbing to the weird little sewn-on pouch that some of the other versions come with, just because I don't find sewn-on pouches to be the most useful thing all the time. If you know what I'm talking about with that, you know, like they always sew it for whatever unique and specific item they size it for, and then when you get it and you want to put something that doesn't exactly fit that unique specific size that they made it, suddenly it's not so great. And you're sitting there going, man, if only I could just attach my own pouch. Well, now you can. What would be useful to put on here if you were going to want to put, like, you know, a small GP pouch on the front of this to kind of, you know, mimic the other one. I don't see that as being very useful because, again, the amount of pouches that are actually going to fit on here exactly are... I'm not sure I even know of any that would count as a GP pouch. You could probably fit a frag grenade pouch would probably fit well on the front of this. So you could do that. And then use it as either, you know, obviously for frags or a compass or what you call it, strobe or something like that. But yeah, so I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but I'm glad that I got the version with the webbing instead of the pouch because I don't find those little sewn-on pouches useful. All right, on to the actual meat and potatoes of this pouch. So it's advertised as a combo hydration and radio pouch. So it's designed around their specific little, what they call a small flask, which is just a 1-liter decor bottle. It's a bottle. You can put fluids in it. Yay. It has a lid. It works. It does a thing. It's hydration. You should have it. Yay. Good bottle. I mean, all right. So about the bottle itself. Is it... So I got mine on sale. They had, when they had their 35% off thing earlier this year. So I think I only paid $7 for this thing. I don't think I'd want to pay more than that for it. In fact, I feel like it's more like a $5 bottle. It is pretty squishy, actually. As you can see here, I'm not having to exert a whole lot of effort to just squish the fuck out of it. I don't think that is actually a knock on its durability. If anything, it might actually help the durability. The top screws off very easily because of these nice little flanges around the lid. It just has, you know, a simple opening like most bottles do. That being said, whatever the normal price is for this thing, I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't really feel like it's worth more than what I paid for it, and probably worth more like $5. Just because it's a very simple plastic molded bottle that is, I mean, I'm sure the durability won't be hurt, but we're not even talking like a USGI level of canteen, you know, type of plastic. It's just very thin, basic, you know, plastic bottle. So yeah, it's okay. It holds fluids reasonably securely. There isn't really much to say about it other than that. Anyways, back to the pouch. So on the inside of the pouch, if you can see that, you have 2 extra accessories. You have a mesh slot here that's meant to hold a PRC-152 or a similar sized radio, It can actually hold more than that, which I'll show in a second. And then also on the front side, for some reason that I'm sure is useful to people that have military accessories, but not people on the internet like me, there's some sort of really useful elastic 2-inch wide piece here at like the upper third area, right about in line with the buckle. It's a piece of elastic. I don't know what it's for, but it's here. It's a piece of elastic, and it's attached to this pouch on the inside. I don't know what it's for, but it's in here. So, yep, then you have a piece of grommeted webbing sewn to the back end of this pouch here on the inside, which is a little annoying, but I'll get to that in a minute. And then a Velcro piece of webbing, and that goes on the front of the mesh insert to hold your radio in. So, this is where this is a very unique pouch, and I like the concept of having a pouch that can do double duty between your radio and a hydration pouch, and it all sounds really useful on paper. It's, in my opinion, honestly not as useful as it sounds. So, the number one obvious thing here, well, you know what? Let me bully that for a second. Let's do fitment. All right. So to start with, this thing can hold obviously a very large radio. That's very useful for people who have those. I don't have one, so we just have to do without it. Ironically, it also holds a 16-ounce hydro flask with the zipper lid. Takes a little bit of rotating, but as you can see, it fits right in there perfectly and has enough room left over in the pouch for one AR mag. And when you zip it closed, that is about as fat as you can get this pouch to go, which equals, where's my tape measure? At its fattest amount here with a 16-ounce hydro flask and a magazine on top of it, you're looking at about 4 inches, give or take a quarter inch. 4 inches by 4 inches. It can expand a little bit bigger than that, I think. Let's look at the top. Yeah, it's still about 4 inches, give or take a quarter. So 4 by 4 by, geez, how long is this thing? Almost 9 exact. Again, plus or minus a quarter, depending on what you're trying to shove in here and how thick it is. You know, obviously that's going to play a role in how much you can fit in here based on how much you've stretched the pouch out in one way or another. Alright, so that's cool. That fits this thing. It can also fit in this little pocket a basic, if you're kind of DIY it, you can put the contents of, if you're familiar with a Dark Angel medkit, the contents of a Dark Angel medkit in a plastic bag, and this will fit also exactly in this little radio pouch slot. And you'll still have room in the front for you have to do a little bit of hacking. You still have room in the front for 2 Pmags. You'll also have a little bit of space at the top, but obviously if you want to, pull things out of the pouch quickly, that's probably not very useful for you, especially if you're going to put, your med kit in here. But there you go. You can fit ammunition and boo-boo stuff in your pouch. You can also fit 4 Pmags in this pouch, and it takes a little bit of doing to do that because Gen 2 Pmags have these ridiculous base plates. Obviously, this would be easier with like USGI mags. They'd fit probably exactly perfectly in here, and oh my god, get in there. There you go. Exactly 4 Pmags. Fit perfectly in this pouch. Why you'd want to spend $55 just to waste a perfectly good hydration or radio pouch to put ammunition magazines in when there are plenty of other cheaper ways to carry large amounts of extra ammo, I don't know, but you can fit it, or, you know, for reference. All right. Obviously, the gimme here is that you can fit the item that it's designed to fit. Obviously fits perfectly, which is about 3/4 of an inch left over at the top. It also fits its bigger cousin, your standard 1 liter Nalgene bottle. Again, fits that exactly perfectly with the same about 3/4 of an inch at the top. Obviously, if you're using this as a hydration pouch with either of these large hydration 1 liter accessories, it's a bottle, you dumbass. Anyways, if you're using that with that, obviously it will fill the pouch completely and you won't be able to put anything else in it aside from whatever you might want to try to strap to the outside. Now I'm going to complain about the pouch because why else would I make a YouTube video? Alright, so there's one problem with using the pouch and one problem with the theory of the pouch. And in my opinion, the theoretical problem of the pouch is the more, I don't want to say severe, but the more impactful. Yeah, let's go with that. That's nice and offensive. And inoffensive, it's impactful. All right, so the problem with the usage of the pouch is a little twofold. Number one, you can't take this stupid mesh thing out. You can't take this little grommet thing out. You can at least take this off, hallelujah. But you can't take any of this out. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is an item that does, it is made up of Velcro and a relatively thick piece of netting, and this does take up some area in the pouch, even when it's folded flat. So, that does, to a point, well, can't really see it well from this angle, but it does to a point kind of kill a little bit of the space in the pouch, especially towards the bottom of the netting where it kind of bunches up where it gathers because it's sewn square. Not a huge deal. Obviously, as you can see, it fits a Nalgene bottle just fine, so it's not that big a deal, but it does take up some extra space in the pouch. However, the more annoying part is if you take one of these items out to take a drink, and then you want to stick it back in, well, a lot of times when you're coming in from the top like that, it tends to catch this little lip of the thing. It catches it, pushes down on it, and then you're sitting there going, why won't my bottle go in the pouch? What's going on? Ah! And if you have this thing at a position on your web gear or plate carrier or chest rig, whatever you're putting it on, where it's kind of at an awkward angle, like more towards your back or, you know, far on the side, this can be really frustrating. It would have been nice if they had sewn a extra piece of some sort of Velcro here, and then sewn a piece of Velcro here so that it would stick to the back of the pouch so that this stupid thing doesn't happen when you try to insert your bottle back in and this thing, well, here you go, it's done it right there. I just push it in, it folds itself out. It likes to do that. Really likes to do that. Anyways, continuing on that theme of things getting caught on this, the other issue that I think really kills the whole concept is the simple fact that taking things in and out of this pouch can be a problem. So let's say you've got something in here Well, it's twofold. Number one, anything you're likely to stick in here is going to take up most of the pouch. Whether it be a calm solution or a hydration bottle or whatever, it's going to take up most of the pouch. So now you're carrying around this giant ass 4x4x9 GP pouch, and 90% of it is taken up with whatever you've put in this mesh item, which doesn't leave you a whole lot for the rest of the pouch. I'm not entirely sure if that's filled up, aside from like an extra magazine or something similar to that size, what exactly you'd put in the pouch once this area is filled with something. I'm not sure, aside from stuff that you can just like stuff in the pouch or whatever, it kind of leaves a little bit to be desired as far as using it as a combination pouch like it's advertised as using it for. Once you put something in here, that's kind of the end of the combo. The other problem too is if you have something in here that you're going to be using regularly, like a hydration bottle or a radio, if you're going to be pulling it out to potentially change frequencies or whatever. If you do have managed to stuff this pouch full with whatever else you can stuff in here, all of that is then, of course, impinging on this. So then you have, once you pull that item out, you have the exact reverse problem of what I just talked about with the bottle, and that is now all that is going to crush the pouch, and then when you're trying to put it back in, you're not going to be able to get the thing back in to this little netting slot. That's kind of a problem. I don't really see any way around that not happening if you're going to use the netting slot for something and then also try to use the GP pouch or what space is left in here to put anything in. Yeah. The second problem with the overall usage of this is that it's advertised as a comms pouch. Well, comms have things that poke out the top of them, like antennas and wires and stuff like that. So you're pretty much stuck having to do like they show on the website and zip the pouch about halfway up, well, 2/3 of the way up, and use this little strap to keep it from flopping open. But there's two problems with that. The number one problem is these zippers aren't guaranteed to stay here unless you take some extra paracord and loop it in here and then tie them together, which you've then completely fucked yourself for opening the pouch if you need to get anything out of it. So if you're going to just run these zippers up here and then expect them to stay there, well, I mean, these are pretty good tight zippers, but this pouch is also brand new. They're not going to stay there, especially if you're, running around and whatever you got in the pouch is bouncing up, down, jiggling around, you're smashing prone on top of it, and it's getting caught in brush and branches and shit on the ground because you're crawling around. These zippers aren't going to stay up here. Eventually they're going to do this, and then your pouch is just fucking opened, and and then if you did try to put anything in here along with your radio or whatever you've got in here, let's go with radio for now since that's what we're talking about. If you did try to put anything else in here with the radio and it's not something that's big enough to keep itself in the pouch, like an ammunition magazine, well, your pouch is open now because the zippers are going to start to fall down. So good luck actually retaining the items you put in the pouch with the intention of retaining inside a pouch in the first place. Yeah. The other problem with this, and this is clearly not as big a problem on the government side of things, but, occasionally the sky opens up and the piss of the Lord rains down upon you and you get water on things. So this pouch being open on the top is basically just asking for your pouch to be filled with water throughout the day. Now, how much rain will get in there because you have this gap at the top of the pouch? Well, I mean, how much can you close the pouch depending on the comm solution you're running in here and how well is the pouch staying closed throughout the day as you move around? It depends. Also, it's going to depend on how hard it's raining, but it's a problem because not only is then your comm solution exposed to rain, but anything else you put in here is now also exposed to rain. Or if you're a dumbass like me and are extremely skilled at falling on your ass while crossing small streams, that can also be a problem when you have pouches that are open. So, yeah, the fact that the solution for closure on the pouch when running the comm systems that it's advertised as being able to combo into running is a little less awesome than I would have hoped. So that's not entirely a, a great thing. And unfortunately, because of that, in my opinion, it kind of kills the whole theory of the pouch. Why have a combo pouch that doesn't combo well? You know, like you're better off, obviously, there aren't a whole lot of other, 2-slot solutions like this, but you're almost better off with a proprietary solution for the simple fact that it will actually work correctly for the things you want to work for. I just don't see the point of either dealing with the hassle of trying to reinsert things and getting it hung up on the accessory items on the inside, or trying to pull things out of the pouch and then having anything else you've stuffed in here in a vain effort to make use of the ginormous rest of this pouch that you can't make use of if it's, the item you put in there doesn't fit it exactly, and then having it either spill out with the stuff when you pull it out, or to collapse this little mesh thing that you're using in here. I don't know. I've I've played with and owned and used a bunch of other pouches of very similar types of layouts on the inside, and the thing I've found overall is that interior organization, at least pre-sewn interior organization, is oftentimes a lot less useful than people think it's going to be. I think there's very much a reason why the fad of having loop Velcro on the inside of pouches has become a thing, and that's just because it's better than this. If you need organization, you put in exactly what you need, and then when you don't need it, you take it out. I think that's a better idea than having stuff like this that's pre-sewn in and that you cannot get out of the pouch if you want to use the pouch for other things. On top of which, as I've already said, I don't feel that this pouch does a good job of executing its advertised goal of being a comm hydro GP sort of combination pouch, because it kind of only does one thing well, and that is being a hydration pouch. Everything else is kind of it does two things well: a hydration pouch and a general purpose just GP pouch that you put stuff in. But if you're just going to use it as a GP pouch, then you don't need the rest of this stuff in there. So my recommend, if you're interested in this pouch, but are looking at it more as a GP pouch, or if you're looking at it like I did, and you're like, hey, this could be a great idea to, maximize my storage space while also, having a pouch that kind of kills two birds with one stone, it kind of doesn't. So I would recommend not spending your money on this pouch. If you like the size of the pouch and the overall format, I would say the better pouches to buy from Platatac would be the standard small flask. Wow, amazing at this. The standard small flask without the radio insert. I also kind of wish I would have bought that anyway, because it's a, standard tall GP pouch like this, but because it doesn't have to have this little buckle thingy on the front, the front webbing is now up about at the mid to upper third of the pouch, which means that if you want to use it as a medical pouch and put like a pull-out insert inside of it, that means that now you can actually use the front webbing to attach a couple of tourniquets to, and because tourniquet pouches are, longer than average, that way you'll be able to attach it to the pouch, have it stay on the pouch and not hang way off below the bottom of the pouch, and then just get caught on everything. That's, you know how pouches hang off other pouches work. I would far more recommend that one, or alternatively the Helium Whisper version if you just want to spend the extra money for Helium Whisper and laser cut webbing on the front. I don't see that really does anything worth the extra money, but it might save you a little bit of weight and profile. Alternatively, they also make a standard small flask pouch without any webbing on it at all, which I say would be probably the third best option for being a solid just GP/hydro pouch option. The only downside to the standard versions is the ones that either are the PALS version or the Hypalon Whisper version. They don't have the webbing on the side of the pouch. They only have it on the front. I personally don't think that's that big of a loss, but your mileage may vary. So there you have it. That's a pretty, I think, thorough overview of this pouch, and I hope you guys got something out of it. Thanks for watching.